Is this a good thing, though? Joe Lacob, the owner, coming out and saying this.
Well, the part about wanting the Cavs, that's a good thing. The Warriors should want the Cavs. In fact, more than that, the Warriors need the Cavs. They need the Cavs for sort of proof of legitimacy of their dynasty. They need them for revenge. They need them. They need them to break the tie. They're 1-1 in finals. The Warriors need the Cavs to, as I said, legitimize the dynasty that the Warriors want to be. They need them for that. And by the way, even if they get the Cavs, and even if they beat the Cavs, it may not be enough. People will still look back on this potential Warriors championship with sort of a, yeah, well, they did put together the best team on the park. They did pick all the best players. There will still be that. But can you imagine, by the way, if they did that against the Celtics? I mean, God, that would be hard to watch. We got all the best guys on one team, and then the lowly Celtics, and I love the Celtics. But man, that would be such big brother picking on little brother. The Warriors need the Cavs in every way. What I don't like is Joe Lacob saying they were the better team last year. I mean, it may be right, but it's still the loser thing to say. I mean, just because you're right doesn't make you right, Stephen A. Just because you're right certainly doesn't make you likable, and I'm aware who's saying that. I'm aware that my goal every time I interact with you two is to be right. But this is like walking around the hallways at ESPN saying, you know, I'm taller than you, to everyone that's shorter. It might be right, but that doesn't absolve you of how it comes off. And Lacob saying that they're the better team despite what happened on the floor just comes off as a loser thing to say.
He shouldn't have said they were the better team because they weren't the better team or they would have won. In a best of 7 in the NBA, the best team always wins. Always wins. And by the way, part of being a team is the hothead, the guy who's erratic the behavior can be erratic in key moments when the adrenaline's going. Can he keep it together? Can he walk that fine line? Draymond, one more flagrant and he's going to be suspended a game. LeBron prodded him. And he lost his temper and did what he did, and he got called for it retroactively and suspended a game. Well, that's part of being a team. So, no, they weren't better. It was very, very, very close. But they were not the better team. And, of course, they need to have this rubber match, it's called. In boxing, if two fighters split the first 2 fights, the third fight is the rubber match because it bounces one way or another, and the winner wins the trilogy and this era in this case. This is an amazing clash of the Titans finals. Of course, everyone wants to see, other than people who live in Boston, and they're a very easy team to root for, but everyone wants to see the Cavs and the Warriors in the rubber match. But I want to get to what he said about being light years ahead of everyone when he said that last year. Because he's really talking about organizationally they're light years ahead. Now, you may disagree with that. You could point to the Spurs or maybe a couple other teams. But the fact of the matter is, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, stop me when you get to a top 3 pick. Eventually, they sign a premier free agent who was the number 2 overall pick. And that's good on them. Like other teams have done that before. The Lakers dynasty, you know, it relied first on trading for Kareem, later on signing Shaquille O'Neal. Those were also high-level trades and free agency signings, right? So that happens from time to time. But if you look at structurally what that team did, they drafted players other teams passed on. They put them together. They coached them up. They optimized their potential. Even when they had a coach who seemed successful, a popular coach with the players in Mark Jackson, they noticed that they didn't like the way the offense was working. They hired another coach. Those all speak to kind of organizational strengths. So he was right about that. He's said controversial things in the past that he's been right about, even if the team itself didn't win because LeBron James is on the other team and there's only one LeBron. He's not wrong about how strong the organization is. He is wrong about saying they were the better team. They weren't.
Yeah, I'm glad you got back to that point because I didn't understand where the hell you were going, whether it was to China, Japan, or wherever the hell you went with all of that stuff. I mean, my goodness. Wow, who cares about all of that? This is about what this man said about this particular potential matchup. He wants the Cavs. I have zero problem with what Joe Lacob said, and I mean zero. And I'm kind of wondering, Will Kane, especially with you, whether or not you've ever competed in your life. I mean, I know you think you do on this show. I'm here to tell you clearly you do not.
How many of us were Division I athletes? Just curious.
Don't interrupt me.
Set, how many Division I athletes?
Zip it. I'm talking. Here's the deal. Joe Lacob, the owner of the Golden State Warriors, first of all, it's not always the case that the best team wins. That is not always the case. There are times in the NBA, the history of the NBA Finals, I thought the better team lost, but we can touch on that another day. Let me say, oh, stop it. That's ignorant. The bottom line is this.
Best team always wins.
If you're Joe Lacob, you want the Cleveland Cavaliers. You know why? They got the best player in the world. And more importantly, they have what you believe belongs to you. I am proud that Joe Lacob said it publicly because he certainly told that to me. So did other members of the organization. They all felt that way. They all still feel that way. They believe that they were robbed of an NBA championship, and damn it, I agree with them. If Draymond Green had not gotten suspended, the Golden State Warriors would have taken the Cleveland Cavaliers out in that Game 5, and that would have been a wrap. So with all of that being said,
Stephen A., how can
here's
you
the
say
bottom
that?
line. Hold on. I'm not explaining that. I've explained to you 1,000 times. If you don't get it, you're not going to get it. Here's the deal.
He knew he'd be suspended.
I love the fact that a guy that is going to the NBA Finals for the third consecutive year is like, yo, we don't just want the title, we want them. That, to me, is what champions are made of, and you should never have a problem with hearing that.
All of us agree on that part. All of us. I think Max said it, I said it, you said it. That part's over.